Death Stranding. And Death Stranding is a little bit trickier to talk about because if anyone follows Kojima is like sort of a master of misdirection without intentionally trying to misdirect you. He's just cryptic.
He's
And
trying
you,
to
of anyone,
misdirect
you know as much as anyone how much that the truth of that is.
Remember Joaquin Mogren? You remember with the bandages on the face?
Yeah, yeah.
That's purposeful misdirection.
Can we? So, does everyone know the major spoiler of Metal Gear Solid 5 now?
What's that?
That you're playing as Poison Snake and not Big Boss.
Oh, I guess so. Sure. I mean, that's happened twice now, where it's like, oh, oops, that's not the snake you thought you were.
He's Poison. It's Poison Snake, right? Isn't that his name?
Venom Snake.
Venom Snake. Okay, I was close.
Yeah. Who I believe is actually still just Big Boss.
What?
Yeah.
I thought the big reveal at the end was that you're playing as Venom Snake, the medical operative who is made to think he was Big Boss.
Oh, I see what you're alluding to now. No, so Venom Snake is Big Boss.
Okay.
But yes, you are playing as somebody who's had the snake's face grafted onto them.
Right.
And then retrained to be them.
Right.
Which is also, again, the second time that's happened in the Metal Gear Solid universe.
I love it, dude. I as an outsider mostly to the Metal Gear Solid franchise, I just fucking love hearing stuff like that. Still not enough to get me to invest my time in any of the games, but
I'm angry that you haven't played Metal Gear Solid 5.
I know.
Like,
so many people tell me that shit.
Don't even play the plot. Don't even pay attention to the plot. It's like the best playing game.
I know. And even my brother, who's like the most casual video gamer I know, gets visibly upset when I tell him I still haven't played Metal Gear Solid 5.
It's infuriating. Just fucking play the game. Jesus Christ.
All right, I'm gonna play it. I'll tell you, I have a lot of time. Okay, so I'm gonna play it before Death Stranding comes out. So
at least play Ground Zeroes.
I actually have played Ground Zeroes all the way through. It's not very long, so it's like what is an hour? So I have played that. I played that a few years ago. What was that?
You like the way it played?
Well, I'm not disagreeing. I think Metal Gear Solid 5 feels excellent. It's incredible.
Well, yeah, also play 5. 5 is great.
Yeah, 5. I played like the first couple hours and I was enthused. I was like, "This is great," but got distracted. So I'll get back into it.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Fine.
Okay. So Death Stranding, they showed a new trailer for it. They didn't have a big presence at E3 2017. Kojima came out and said, "We're working on the game. We don't have much to show you, but we'll have more to show you next year." And they did. They had a good section of the Sony press conference, about a 10-minute trailer that was story and gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts right away after and during seeing this trailer? Did you walk away with anything what stood out to you? I'm interested to know because we haven't talked about this too much.
I liked how much of it was dedicated to Norman Reedus dropping stuff.
Yes, and just carrying shit.
Yeah,
maybe it's just a game about carrying stuff.
Oh, fuck.
How much can you carry?
Oops. Yeah.
Damn it! Ripping his toenail off.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I like
that. It looks a bulk of the game seems to be just walking through these like valleys and mountain passes, just carrying more and more shit.
Scrambling
up a hillside.
Yeah.
But we kind of like know more, sort of, about what this game really is. We know it's a stealth action game. It's gone back and forth, from what I can tell, over the past few years, from being open world to not being open world. I still have no confirmation I've seen that it is an open world game. I don't think it is, and I don't think it should be, honestly. Mm-hmm. Just based on the story they're trying to tell. It seems that I think it's going to end up being more linear than people think it is.
All right.
But we do, after this gameplay trailer, know now that the main character's name is Sam. Sam Bridges, played by Norman Reedus. Big news. Mm-hmm. The trailer is the one that they showed this year is really kind of silly in a lot of ways. It opens with a baby being shown, which we already knew.
Ass.
Yeah, baby's butt.
Yeah.
We already knew that there's babies in this game that are like central to the plot somehow. But there's a baby that exists inside Norman Reedus.
Hmm.
That baby is in his like esophagus, which is really fucking weird. What is going on? I want to know.
Well, are we sure that's physical or is it not
Metaphorical.
metaphorical? Yeah.
With Kojima, it could be either. It could be both.
Could be both.
um, but yeah, throughout this trailer, we see Sam traversing this world that's like I think it's like some sort of post-human Earth. I don't think they're on another planet.
Hmm.
It seems to be after some apocalyptic event of some sort, and
Hmm.
it seems like that apocalyptic event has something to do with time or perhaps black holes. There's
Okay.
multiple mentions throughout this trailer about how time is not what it once was,
Right.
that there is dilution, that there's time slips. Um, and I'll just run my theory real
Okay.
quick by you,
Hit
and you can
me.
tell me what you think. So after this trailer, what I began to think was, okay, so if this is a world that's been seemingly destroyed or heavily disrupted by time,
Hmm.
that time doesn't work how it's supposed to anymore, that Norman Reedus's character, the baby he's carrying around, is a baby version of himself, maybe, or
Hmm.
perhaps a baby version of his partner or something like that,
Okay.
and that there's potential in this time slip world to rapidly age and rapidly decrease in age.
Okay.
We saw in a previous trailer, I think that they showed 2 years ago, that you see a character rapidly age,
Right.
like go from being like middle aged to elderly. I think it was.
Yeah.
So perhaps in this world, that's a major issue, and perhaps what killed most of the population is that time was affecting people to shoot them down in age and shoot them up in age, right? So massive acceleration or deceleration in the aging process,
Okay.
in some regard. Um, and then we also see in this trailer that that Norman Reedus' character Sam uses the baby to power his backpack that has this like robotic attachment that uh, shines this light source that he's able to see these humanoid entities that are invisible to him otherwise, that just kind of float around and are attached to these umbilical cords. So there's a lot of imagery revolving around birth here.
Hmm.
Um, and so I think that this whole thing is going to be some metaphor in a lot of ways, but also this journey of like from birth till death and people stuck in between that process and being forced to relive lives, and time
Uh-huh.
is going to be like massively disrupted in that way, and and I don't know, but so what do you think?
So Kojima is a huge pop culture dork, right?
Yeah.
He loves Western cinema. He loves Western music. And he loves Eastern cinema and music as well. Um, and when you mentioned black holes, it occurred to me that Kojima is also a big fan of Christopher Nolan, and in all likelihood, we got fireworks going off over here. He also liked Interstellar quite a lot, and I think the time dilation stuff that you mentioned makes a lot of sense. And I can't help but see Kojima through the lens of the pop culture nerd that he likes to portray himself as. Like
Right.
he's very much the kind of person who is stoked to use his position to familiarize himself or ingratiate himself with celebrities and become friends with those celebrities. I mean, this is Death Stranding is a perfect example of that. Like he's just in love with Mads Mikkelsen and Norman Reedus. He fucking loves those guys.
And then he got like Lindsay Wagner, the bionic woman, at the end, which was like the big reveal at the end of this recent trailer. So random.
And like he could have just Norman Reedus star in this game. He could, you know, he what Norman Reedus was going to be the star of Silent Hills, right?
Yeah.
That was the big reveal at the end of that of PT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he just loves that dude, And you know it because Norman Reedus got a new hand tattoo, and it's fully featured in this trailer repeatedly.
Yeah, it is.
He just likes Norman Reedus,
He loves
like
him. They're
as the
buds, dude.
figure. Yeah, they're buds. There's a good picture going around of him pretending to smoke a cigarette next to Mads Mikkelsen and Norman Reedus, who are factually smoking cigarettes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Um, so I like legitimately think that he saw like Interstellar and was like, hell yeah, time dilation, dude.
Dude.
Hell yeah. Matthew McConaughey crying to his elderly daughter.
You're probably on the right track, and maybe we'll see like a elderly Norman Reedus crying to a baby version of Norman Reedus.
I like the notion that the baby is potentially a clone of him or of his partner, because he enters the time muck area by saying like, I've got a plan, and he like straps a baby onto his chest.
Yeah.
So it seems like the fallback plan is like, well, this baby's just going to grow up if I age out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll do, but then how is it getting the knowledge? I don't know. I think kind of.
Well, the baby also gives him a thumbs up at one point. I mean, the baby maybe like if it was maybe it was. I mean, to me, I got the idea that the baby that he has is sentient and has consciousness, and is it like, because it does give him this weird thumbs up in the beginning, and maybe that's nothing, maybe it's metaphorical, or maybe that it once was like his partner or his friend or someone that rapidly decreased in age and is now a baby, but still maintains a level of consciousness where he's able to provide help to Norman Reedus in some way other than just being there.
I think that that's fair to assume. Well, I don't think it's fair to assume. I think that's a fair guess. But I think at this point, it's foolish to assume that anything that is being portrayed to us makes any like direct sense. Remember that Metal Gear Solid 5 was initially billed as the Phantom Pain by portraying an enormous fire whale.
Yes.
There's a lot to guess about what a fire whale means, and the fire whale was in fact in the game. It doesn't fucking mean anything. It never revealed why the fire person made a whale out of fire. There's just nobody addresses that fact. It just happened. So the fact that the baby gives a thumbs up, it could just fucking happen. The baby may not actually be communicating anything. It may just be something cool to look at.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be. Very well could be that. There's a moment in the newest trailer. Also, I want to say as an aside, the song that they have in this trailer, fucking good song, dude. I like that song.
Kojima loves his music, man. He's got like a super high end digital audio Sony audio player that he takes pictures of when he's got like New Order playing on it and shit. He loves Slowdive, and he's got good ass taste in music.
His song, who I've never heard the group before, Silent Poets. I'm unfamiliar with them, but the song is called Asylums for the Feeling or Asylums for the Feelings. And that's like such a fucking Kojima, like it's just super Kojima to me.
Yeah, totally. He's a moody dude.
Yeah. And there's we saw the other character that hadn't been introduced before, also mocapped and portrayed by Léa Seydoux, a French actress.
Okay.
Her character is super bizarre, but also very Kojima. She wears like the this exosuit of sort that has fragile written all over it and shipped with love. Like it's so like anime and strange, dude. And I love it.
Never knows best.
But she's having this conversation with Norman Reedus' character, and she says something like, "What's your level?" And he replies with, "I've got the extinction factor."
Right.
So and you're like, what the fuck? What does this mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Fucking know. And then she eats a weird space bug or time bug.
Oh, at the end, that's the last thing. She eats this fucking nasty little grub. Who knows with them? So maybe that's a baby Ludin that Kojima seems to be obsessed with. These higher beings.
Notion of the Ludins.
So can you fill me in on what that is? I mean, I read up a little bit about Ludens and Kojima's sort of obsession with them, but can you perhaps give me some info on that a little bit?
Yeah, he ever since the launch of his studio, he's been. I don't know if I want to attribute this entirely to him, but Kojima Productions has been uh, using this mascot for their studio logo, which is a skull-faced person with a like a space suit on, and they are called Homo Ludens. And the developer or the studio's website has described a Homo Ludens as the evolution of mankind, the kind of human evolution, or the kind of human that loves to play or lives to play.
Right.
And most people who talk about or read about games know Ludo or Ludens from the term ludonarrative dissonance.
Sure.
So to see it prescribed in this way is interesting, and it's just like a cool like space guy with a Kojima flag and a tight ass night suit.
Right. The logo for Kojima Productions.
Yeah,
Or Kojima, yeah.
They've got like figures of him and shit.
Yeah.
It looks rad, and you said that you think that he might play a role in the game, and that surprised me.
Well, I've seen people theorize that the Kojima mascot is a Luden, or being that he is a Luden. There's been a lot of theories that Ludens are either the antagonist of Death Stranding or play a major role in Death Stranding, and that perhaps even to go as far as to say that their mascot is going to play a role in this game, that's actually a real character. So Homo Ludens have existed before Kojima made it their mascot. Okay. It's shown up as early as 1938, I saw. It was written by a Dutch historian named Johan Huizinga. But since then, it's shown up in other places. It's been written in sci-fi book series. And essentially, over the last 100 years or so, they've shown up in other places. And what it's akin to, what it can be compared to, is like X-Men, sort of above human. Like they're just evolved humans.
Okay.
And that they also have this very like ethereal, simple nature to them, that they just kind of float around and as you said, are very playful, like they play. So there's something kind of innocent about them in a way, and that they've maybe in their evolution above human, they've left all of the things inside humans psychologically that make people dark inside, and they left anger and everything behind, and are purely just evolved into such a simple being. They don't have that level of emotion, So the theory right now is that the world that Sam, Norman Reedus' character, inhabits is a world post-Luden, whatever that means, and that the Ludens are the things that you see in these trailers that are invisible, that are hunting humans in a way. They seem to move without a lot of sound. They don't seem to have much of a vocal presence. They don't make any sound. I mean, you see them floating in the sky, and they kind of shimmer, and then you see them later in the trailer, and they're like this kind of just mass of shadow and darkness. So
right.
I didn't get anything angelic from them. I from the trailer, I understood that they were these insidious beings, but who knows? I mean, we don't know.
I don't know. And then like he's got that noisy ass notifier robot on his shoulder that's like clacking and blaring light, but then he covers his mouth.
Yeah, and that thing is going crank, 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 crank.
Yeah,
To me.
so
I don't know.
What's it detecting? Like his breath, or
that's another good question.
I don't know.
Well, it almost seems like back to the point that time and reality is weird. There's a moment in this new trailer where it's right in the beginning. Reedus' character's in like this cave hiding out, and one of the beings, the entities, comes into the cave with him, and you can see its handprints. It's got very human-like handprints, and it presses down on a photo that he was holding and had dropped
Mm-hmm.
in like a mud puddle, and the hand presses down on it, and it creates an imprint in the ground, but it doesn't affect the picture. The photograph itself that's there doesn't wrinkle, it doesn't get crushed.
Mm-hmm.
It just is static there.
Mm-hmm.
So that made me think that maybe these entities are on a different like timeline, and they're kind of like reaching through time in a way, or maybe that they're just on a different plane of reality and they're seeping through. There's so much to think about and digest, and it's not easy with what we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's a fool's errand at this point. It's just we just gotta sit back and let it wash over us.
Exactly.